The past few days, I have not slept and I've taken time to really reflect on myself, my words, and what my Jewish family has been saying. I've gotten hundreds of messages of support and thank yous for saying what I said, identifying with what I truly intended. But I've also received just as many comments communicating that I've truly hurt them. Whether a Jew agrees or disagrees with one another, we really are one family. For those who've experienced pain or offense by my words, even if many misunderstood, in the end, it doesn't matter, because people got hurt. That's never what I intended for, and just for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry for the pain that I've caused you. It is my responsibility to make sure that I articulate the message I am trying to convey in a way that doesn't carelessly leave room for what my words in practice did to too many. For those that understood my message, I hope that you take it to heart for what I intended, and for those that I hurt, please hear me out. I've been a Jewish activist for most of my life, and I'm actually very hard on myself to be the very best version of myself that I can be. It's also easy for most to forget when seeing me through a screen that I am also human like you, imperfect and susceptible to making mistakes. I have a large platform to spread light and a lot of willpower. These are blessings that come with heavy responsibilities. Never will I say something just for approval. If that's what I wanted, I wouldn't take the positions that often most of the world is against. But I must work to always do the right thing and even say the right things because words really do have power. We just had Parasha Vayikra, which is about bringing korbanot, or offers of forgiveness after making mistakes, and that all Jews, including and especially leaders, or those who have the intention of many, are required to face those mistakes. I am not afraid to face mine. Keep in mind that my life consists of fighting physically, psychologically, intellectually, and emotionally against anti-Semitism with every ounce of my body and soul every single day. What I said came out insensitive to many, and it was from a place of seeing the patterns of what's coming that has been building up inside of me for a long time. It was a raw cry for my community to wake up and unite. To those that disagree with my position, it's okay. You don't need to attack me or anyone else. The way I see the world throughout Jewish history, whenever Jews are united, empowered, and on the path to fulfilling their collective purpose of spreading light, we overcome the strongest of nations and worst enemies. But whenever we are divided, disempowered, and assimilating, the patterns are very clear. A horrible tragedy follows. When those enemies rise, I believe we must react together immediately, and throughout Jewish history, we have mostly not been able to reach that level. Purim is our story of Jews being divided in Persia and a wicked man quickly rising to power to eliminate all the Jews. We learn from this story that even one Jew, Esther, was able through her bravery and courage and immediate actions to save the Jewish people. My message was not one of condemnation of the generation that faced the Shoah, but addressing the most recent trauma we faced just 80 years ago that we have yet to fully process, and that despite its unmatched evil and consequences, it fits into the patterns of oppression and anti-Semitism experienced in diaspora throughout Jewish history until this day. For thousands of years, us Jews have gone through horrible traumas, and we still carry that in our DNA, with our souls, and in our hearts. Before the ghettos of Venice, the Inquisition, pogroms, the Shoah, you had few Jews who saw the signs clearly and rang the alarm. But most of us were understandably so abused from the past, so desperate to cling on to the acceptance of other societies we lived amongst, that we were in denial of what was growing right in front of us. It is true that many Jews fought back, but it is also true that due to our traumas, many more were unable to see what would come, and that this is my very point that I wanted to bring up. Our need to see it coming. Just as we've been so many times before, we are in denial today, and even those who open their eyes for 1 second usually roll over and pretend they didn't see what's growing fast in front of them. There are clearly forces uniting the world against us, and institutions and capacities to create genocide that are far greater in each generation. I honestly cannot fathom another Holocaust happening. I mean, today we have the State of Israel, and we have social media. But at that time, neither did the generations before, as they believed that they had enlightened societies and newspapers to protect them. Not to mention that we've lost Israel twice before for not uniting when faced with an enemy nation. By the time that Jews were forced to walk into the trains, it was already too late for most. The Nazis were master manipulators. This isn't for being a weak and docile people, but because we have yet to process that generational trauma. that when enemies approach, we still do not unite, and we become a divided pack of lions, blinded by those traumas until it's too late. Did you know that even in the ghetto uprisings, the fighters were divided and many even in their last moments couldn't fight together? All of these beautiful Jewish minds that are capable of reaching extraordinary heights in different fields from all walks of life and perspectives. Imagine how strong we can be today if we really united and decided to be the anomaly generation, or how strong we could have been together way before enemies took power throughout our history. Many Jews believe anti-Semitism is a problem for the rest of the world to solve. That when our enemies appear, that all nations must banish and prevent them from succeeding. Okay, if that's what lies at your core, get the world to accept us and teach them why anti-Semitism is wrong. On the other hand, I and many other Jews, especially those in Israel, believe it's our responsibility to recognize and minimize anti-Semitism where it exists and to make sure that it stays down ourselves. And that's okay too. Do we not see that we need both of those approaches today? Are we really that blind to realize that these are two sides of the same coin? Two truths that simultaneously exist? Are we really going to fight each other now when we see anti-Semitism growing because we have different focuses on how to solve that same problem? Fam, I am one Jew like anyone else. Let's grow from this, as I have too, and take this moment to understand that we don't have much time and we are running out of chances. We can be that generation that all generations before have aspired to be. Let us learn from Esther today. One Jew can change the world and save the Jewish people. Let's be like Esther. Let's be that one Jew. Imagine how strong we would be and how much light we could create in this world if we were together, united as one.